In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Real Hospitality Live. Today, during all of this crazy stuff going on with operations, with the world, with this COVID-19, with people not knowing what the heck to do with themselves or to do with their business, I brought in the voice of reason.
Voice of reason. Nice.
Lance Popke of Restaurant Funnel. Lance is an expert marketer. He's really the guy, the touchstone to go to in times like this as to what we should be doing with our organizations and operations. And I thought it was the best time to get some advice from you for operators who are still open and operators who are not open. How are things with you, man?
Yeah, well, cooped up at home with 6 kids, right? It's definitely going crazy and losing my mind a bit, but locked myself in one of my basement dungeon rooms and
Yes.
have a little adult conversation with you. So I'm looking forward to that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how mature it's going to be, but let's go.
Nice. Well, I'm tired of being the most mature one, so now I'm going to leave it to you to be mature, and I'm going to act silly. So
I'm not sure if I have the shoulders for that baton.
Nice.
So what's going on with you and your clients, and you know what are your thought processes on all of this?
Well, it's an ever-changing environment, right? And what we were thinking yesterday or even a few hours ago changes rapidly. And, I think a week's transition from going from your restaurant being good to half capacity to delivery and takeout only to now, I see there's some restaurants that are delivery or drive-through only, like McDonald's, I think is drive-through only. So they're not even letting you in the building. It's really a crazy time. And, everybody's saying it and I'm just repeating it, but, and I don't think anybody really knows what to do. Especially because we don't know what's coming. So, like for one of the things that I suggest to the people that I talk to is, be upfront and be clear as much as possible. So this isn't the time to be being abstract with your posts or, go to your website and have cute little pictures and videos and that sort of stuff. It's, be clear. Are you open? Are you closed? Right. Have those messages right up front. If you're open, make sure you're posting what's different about your service than what people are used to. Right. Dining rooms closed, curbside pickup, limited menu, whatever. People right now, the ability to attract new guests to your restaurant is going to be very minimal. People are going to stick to what they know, and they want that comfort, right? People aren't feeling very adventurous right now and trying new things. So my suggestion to people who are still open is just be extremely clear. And if anything, there's never been a better time to kind of reinstate that. The need for an engaged email list, right? You need to get a message out to people fast. Well, that's how email works, right? Or even, text message marketing, right? Your social media posts and, we know with all the algorithms and that sort of thing, you're posting on there, but it's getting lost in the feed, right? And there's so much social media activity right now that, people aren't able to keep up, right? Everybody's drinking from a fire hose, I find, right? With all the information flowing around. So, that's my suggestion. My other big thing and pet peeve is, you want to talk about a restaurant that needs to portray an aspect of cleanliness and professionalism. And, I've walked by some restaurants and I see like a handwritten sloppy note on the door saying, "Hey, we're still open," kind of thing. And I'm like, dude, like if I see that note and you can't even write neatly on the door, why would I want to come in there and pick anything up? Right. Like,
Right.
So, we just need to take that extra time, and it doesn't have to, like I say, have to be anything fancy, but you just need to be, be able to be professional, right?
Right.
The big thing too, with a lot of the postings, like, so I'm on a ton of email lists for restaurants, right? Just part of my job. And so I've been bombarded, right? People who haven't emailed out in months have all of a sudden sent out an email with the COVID-19 and everything. But I have yet to receive one personalized letter or a video from the owner, right? It's lots of legalese and stuff like that. And people don't want to hear that from a restaurant, right? They don't need to hear the legal jargon, right? They need to hear, compassion, what's happening with your staff, right? If people are coming into your restaurant and they love your food as much as they love your staff, and there might be personal relations, especially a smaller one, give updates. If you're closed, give a little update. Hey, Billy's at home with his family, and, Susie's doing fine, kind of thing. Right. And, those sort of messages can go a long way.
I think in this time that's absolutely key. And I've been preaching for the last week about staying in contact with your people, stay in contact with your suppliers, stay in contact with your customers, even if it's, like you say, a personal message or a personal letter. Hey, we're still here, or we've temporarily closed, or we've reduced our menu, whatever that might be. I mean, sending out the, hey, we've decided to wash our hands and clean the place now is not necessarily what your guests need to be hearing, right? Either you're still there or you're not, or are you doing something to help the community, or are you needing help? Because restaurants are the first place, and I'm going to say this now, and because it's been coming to me a lot too. Restaurants are the first place that when charities or people in need, they come and they say, hey, have you got a donation for our sports team? Hey, have you got a donation for our such and such going on? Right now, everybody needs help.
Yeah.
These conversations to be being had back and forth, within the community, because no matter what type of restaurant you have, you're still a part of the community. I would say that regardless of whether you're a part of a big chain or you're a mom and pop shop, you're still part of that neighborhood. Keeping in contact with your clients and your customers and your friends and your neighbors is key. Yeah,
I agree. I think the one thing that I kind of lean towards some things of, if you do decide to close, I don't think it's necessarily as important to be constantly updating people. Right. I think that, again, we're really drinking from a fire hose, and there's a lot of things going on. And the last thing you want to do is start pushing people to unsubscribe or unlike your page just because you're in their face too much about a product that they can't have.
Right.
Right. And so that's kind of, I err on the side of caution about over engagement. And I also feel like, for those restaurants that are open and if you decided to close, make room for that. And, one of the things that I like to adopt is adopt a restaurant, right? If you're a burger joint and you decide to close, figure out if there's a burger joint in your area that's still open and let people on your network know, right? Like, let them know that, hey, you know what, we're closed, but Joe's Burger Shack down the street, if you haven't tried it, he's a really good guy, be neighborly, right? And and that just goes a long way and helping, and people, I think, will respect you for passing off that information as well, right? And so
people know who's still open and who you recommend.
Yeah, for sure, right? And and that's one of the the things where I feel like engagement needs to happen is if you're providing people with useful information, right? And letting them know about what's going on. And, and then as a restaurant, if you do decide to close, right, there's, if you can give back, right? Like, on the operation side of things, I'll be honest with you, what scares me right now is that a lot of restaurants are going to end up locking the doors, walking away, and in 6 weeks it's gonna start smelling like dead bodies around here, right? And so the things that I preach, quite a few of my clients have closed, and on the non-marketing side is like, make sure you're setting yourself up for a good reopen, right? Take a day or two, clean everything out, make sure you're, shut off your freezer and your fridge. There's no food in there. Make sure you prop it open, and I know this is supposed to be about marketing, not operations, but I think that's the big thing, because when you get green lighted to start going back, you want to be able to walk into a nice, clean, ready to go restaurant, because you're going to be feeling a little down, right? And if the first thing that you have to do when you go back to open up the doors is clean for 4 days, you're probably not going to be as engaged, right? If you can start doing stuff, right?
Come into a fresh kitchen, fresh front of house.
Yeah.
You make a great and positive point in that. Max Cotton, who we have coming on Thursday from Dodo Pizza, they're the largest and fastest growing restaurant on the planet right now. They just reopened China today.
Nice.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, folks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's that light might be 12 weeks down the road, or 18 weeks down the road, like China had to go through.
Yeah.
But if we're not complete asses and actually take the social distancing thing intelligently, and make sure that we're conscious about what we're doing in this time, then we can get there faster, and we can get to a point where we are flattening the curve. I'm not a health professional, but I am a restaurant professional.
Yeah.
And when I saw Fyodor post this morning that they opened China today, it was the rainbow of my day, really.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? That's it. There's the line. You can see that we can get there. As an industry, we're going to get there. It's not going to be easy. We're not all going to make it 18 weeks because a lot of us don't have it in the bank. But there is a light.
Yeah.
And with them opening in China today, that was it for me. I just said, you know what? That's hope, my friend.
Yeah. And I think people need to realize that this isn't this is hugely affects, our industry, the end user, but everybody bears the brunt, right? From, the suppliers to the landlords to, the linen companies, and, everybody's bearing that brunt, and it's going to take all of us to work together to make it happen. Right. And, for you to be doing extra streaming and extra information, right? Like you're not getting paid extra to do this. You're donating those services, right? I've gone unpaid for my clients, and we're working on strategies for when they reopen. And, the promise to them is that, do whatever it takes until they reopen, and then we can talk about things. But so it's going to take, the whole community to kind of make things work. And for those restaurants that are determined and want to see through, it's bigger than finances, right? Like, there's government programs and stuff out there that will help them get through. I'm really concerned about a lot of people's mental states, yep, right?
Absolutely. You make a good point.
You take someone who is constantly busy, living life on the edge, and now you go, okay, you're going to sit, right? And so how are people going to be affected by that? And so it's going to be those strong people, I feel. It's not necessarily the people who have the biggest, fattest wallets. It's going to be the people who have, who can reach down deep inside and say, okay, like I can get through this mentally, and I'm going to come out of it stronger. And it's for those people that, I hope they reach out to people like you and people like me, and we'll help them come up with a plan or come up with some strategies or things to think about over the next 4, 6, 8 weeks or whatever, so that they can hit the ground running. And so from my perspective, it's more about, the marketing end of things, and making sure you have some content created so that you can optimize or automate it when you do open, that it's just kind of like hit and play. And, because you're going to have to retrain staff, and you're going to have, like, there's so many operational things. And I feel like marketing right now is definitely one of the last things that people need to be uber stressed about.
Right.
But they need to kind of sort of cross that T and dot that I as they move forward over the next few weeks when they start opening, right? Making sure that they're thinking about those things. And one of the big things I hear, like, some people are using this as an opportunity to redo menus and test out new products and stuff. And my big thing I say to people is, make sure you're videotaping it. Make sure you're taking pictures. Every opportunity, taking that information, because that'll help to tell a story once you do reopen, and that'll provide you with some content. You might not need, don't share it now. Don't need to use it now, but when you go down, it'd be like, hey, yeah, on day 36, I got this brainwave and created this fantastic dish, and here's how I did it, right? And so that'll help with telling your story down the road as well, right?
I think, and in doing that, I mean, this is almost an uninterrupted opportunity to go into your home kitchen and test stuff. And if you're healthy and your kitchen's still open, your heart of house at the restaurant, then go in and play.
Yeah.
And if you can get products in, or if you still have products that you want to test, record that, like you say. And even on the marketing end, it's the opportunity to take a look at, like you mentioned just a few minutes ago, about your website. And I say this all the time. Who the hell has time to do that? Well, now we have to do it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and you can cross some of those T's and dot those I's, and get to those things that you always meant to get to, but never had time, because there's been fires burning at every end, right? And I understand too, and it's hard to get motivated. I know that if you were to say to the restaurants that are closed that, hey, you're reopening at the end of April, they'd have every checklist and everything planned out, right?
Yeah.
But because nobody knows when that day may be coming, it kind of puts people in a different state of mind, I think. But we need to, again, dig deep inside and go, okay, you know what, we could open tomorrow. So what do I need to tackle, and let's prioritize a list, and let's reach out to people who can help us, because there's lots of restaurant consultants that are sitting at home and self-isolating, but have these channels that love to talk restaurant, and would love to just bounce ideas off of people, and there's lots of resources out there right now that you can utilize, and I just hope that people take advantage of those.
Well, yesterday I brought Andrew Craig on from Ottawa, and I mean, what they're doing is amazing. I mean, they've got a restaurant operator owner who has several properties, but they've spoken to suppliers, they spoke to staff, every available body, if you've got a vehicle or hands, and if you're healthy, they're putting together boxes for seniors.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing in Ottawa. They put out almost 4,000 boxes of food out to seniors in the last week.
Yeah, for sure.
So that these people don't have to go to the grocery store, or maybe they're already having a hard time and shut in, and you can get a hold of them on their website. There's a GoFundMe thing. I mean, that's using your time in the right way, and people in that community will never forget that they did this. They will never forget it. If you have the capacity to do that, rather than burning your Netflix account, I mean, I know we're supposed to be staying home, but I mean, if you're the person who has those contacts, and you can call the suppliers and, hey, have you got extra this, or can you sell this at cost, or can we help out in some way? We've got some healthy folks who are going to work with the community and do something positive. If your name is attached to that, then again, your neighbors will never forget it.
Yeah. No, yeah, there's lots of opportunity to do selfless good, right? And any opportunity that you have available to do that, that's it'll not only help you feel good and useful, which is, I think, the biggest thing with the restaurant people is the feeling of not being needed. 24/7, right?
Right.
And then helping everybody else get through this is huge, right?
I think that talk about the mental health thing too. I mean, as long as we're busy,
yeah,
right, then it helps us from dwelling.
for sure.
I fell into it too. I went for a walk a couple nights ago through Calgary, and there wasn't a soul around, like not a soul, and the gravity of it hit me. I went, ooh.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of push through it, and then Robbie and I have got so many projects that we're working on. We've got so much stuff going on, and we're trying to bring our community together and have these conversations with people like you, or experts, to be able to give advice and share education and inspire. That's what's keeping me from going stir crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, did we have, Robbie? Did we have questions through LinkedIn or? Okay. So right now we are live on LinkedIn and YouTube through StreamYard, and this is really what we do with this program. Is we try and bring people together. We want everybody to get engaged. We want to share information, education, mentorship, and inspire each other to kind of get through what we're going through now, but even on an ongoing basis, day-to-day operationally, to be able to have somebody to reach out to, and professionals who can give you really great advice, who are really involved in the industry. And I mean, our program is called Real Hospitality Live because that's who we talk to, is the people on the ground. We're not bringing people on to talk about, well, I think maybe this and I think maybe that from on high. These are guys who have worked in the industry and are now professionals in what we do. Today I've brought on Lance Popke, who of Restaurant Funnel. You can see down below his website. If you are taking this opportunity and taking this time to take a look at where are you with your marketing? Where were you with your marketing? Was it working for you before? How are you reaching your clients? And what's your website look like? This is a great opportunity to talk to Lance about taking the opportunity and making sure that you have the right wording in place, and that you are even speaking to the right people. Thanks, Lance, for coming on today. I know you had to hide out to get a quiet spot because all the kids are off. Our kids are off too. They think it's still spring break here in Alberta, and you and I are both in Alberta. They put the kids off indefinitely, I think. So I think they're never going back to school. But I hope
we cleaned out lockers and everything last week. So
yeah, we did the same.
It is done. So I can just add just one last thing that I kind of forgot to mention, which is the big thing with people's website and even their Facebook page. And if they're closed, preach from my pulpit about email, but this is the time you need to be collecting email addresses, right? And the best thing on your webpage, front and center, is, we are temporarily closed. Please leave your email address and we will notify you as soon as things change, right? And get those people's contact information so that you have that ability to, get in touch with them right away. And on my website, I have a program. It's called the who, the why, the what, and the how. And it's, really good for going through and self-reflecting on, what your restaurant is all about, and being able to streamline that message. So if anybody, wants to go on my website and check out those blog posts or has questions, they can, book a call with me, and, I'd love to walk through any of that, right? We're not sales pitching anything right now. There's no request for fees for services. We're just here to help as much as we can, and get people through things and get them to be better than ever when they reopen.
That's awesome. Thanks a lot, Lance, for coming on today. And I know that you are busy with your family at home these days. Yeah. And if people, when people are wanting to get a hold of you, they can look below at the contact information for Lance Popke at restaurantfunnel.com. Thanks everybody for joining us, and stay sane, my friend.
Awesome. You too. Stay safe.
Take care.
Cheers.